here is a depiction of slaves being brought to their place of work. The one on the right is a more modern interpretation. It's more contemplative of was presumably a slave in isolation imprisonment. Next couple of slides are again along the same theme. An elderly woman praying, inspirational in a way, looking for better days, and a young man looking to what we might presume to be a better future. So not only did we want to incorporate the history of the African Americans who lived here, but also the previous cultures that were on this site. As we mentioned earlier, the Lenape Indians, and we have a couple of bas reliefs of what a village might have looked like. An activity such as textile weaving. And also more humanizing portraits, like the ones we saw previously. Here a mother and child, and here a more stately gentleman, presumably of power and authority. So this rendering here incorporates all the things that we have seen. To the left and to the right, we see the engraved quotes from Martin Luther King and Frederick Douglass. In the distance, moving up the ramp, are the bronze sculptural reliefs. You also see the memorial pools. And in black granite would be carved the names of those interred at the site. That, of course, is beneath the memorial bridge. But the goal of this task force was to envision a space that was not simply to commemorate, but would also be a live space. So to this end, we also incorporated an informal stage area, which we will see in a subsequent rendering. But just briefly, I want to describe the kind of light feature that we have going on here. We have these lights that sort of emanate from the bottom of the pool and sort of reflect on the underside of the memorial bridge the ripples of the water. And we conducted a little test, a little scale model test of this, and it works during the day and in the night. And it signifies, I think, pretty obviously about resurrection, eternal life, and the continuation of life. This is a night rendering. This is how we envision it might look like at night, and also how it might be used by those who visit the site, but also the local community residents. We have an informal stage area, and the people are seated on the steps behind. The people are seated on the steps in front of this speaker. This speaker, I don't know if any of you recognize, is James Coney, who's a teacher at the Union Theological Seminary. He wrote The Cross and the Lynching Tree. So it's an opportunity to invite speakers and other people of renown to come and speak and to talk about things related to the goings-on in this African burial ground memorial space. But not only is an opportunity to allow the people to come and congregate, but it also has a pull-down projection screen, so it would also serve as a kind of informal kind of movie area where you could come and see documentaries or other films, not only related to the history of the site, but also filmmakers who have done work in related topics, whether it be about slavery in general or modern-day slavery in terms of sweatshop factories, etc. So it commemorates those who were interred, but it's also a living space that tries to bring the community to come, interact, and investigate. That was the memorial space. This is the open green space, the original delineated boundaries of the original burial ground. This is how we envision it might look like. As I mentioned earlier, the periphery are these community gardens. The brick that's used for the paving is, we imagine that it would be repurposed brick from the current bus depot that's currently standing, a sustainability aspect. But again, it's meant to be participatory. There's an informal stage area, as you can see on the lower right-hand corner. And it's a space where people are allowed to come and congregate, talk, converse, and a place where you can hold events. And it's, well, like I said, it's designed to be a living space. The plinth on which this rests, the steps are used as terraces, and that is how we bring the pedestrian up from the sidewalk onto our plinth and into our green memorial space. I should take this opportunity to also point out that while it's not depicted in any rendering, there's also this idea of a cultural / memorial space that would be incorporated at the base of perhaps this tower building on the far right-hand side as a kind of museum space where where artifacts and other artifacts of history can be more properly presented. This is a rendering at night. These are power boxes which are important for this following kind of light gesture of light. These are fiber optic cables. This is a tested technology. There's a precedent for this in a botanical garden in Pennsylvania. And these power boxes are attached to the fiber optic cable wires underneath the ground. And each light fixture, each fiber optic cable represents one of the interred at this burial ground. So it's a symbol of their spirit and presence. Oh, and that's the final rendering. And I just want to say that this is, again, this is our collective vision. It's meant to be a cultural / memorial space, a living space that brings in the community, but also that allows for opportunities for mixed use, affordable housing, economic development opportunities, etc. And it's intended to commemorate and preserve the memory of those interred, but also to bring the history back to life and engage the community. Thank you.